Good morning, guys. Good morning to all. My voice is clear. Am I audible? Guys, my voice is clear. Am I audible? Okay. The last class we discussed. Guys, my voice is clear or not? Please respond, anybody. Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that is I'm expecting, guys. Thank you. And last class we discussed how to do the end-to-end testing, and I did one end-to-end testing, that is the automobile. And what about the homework, guys? I provide the homework, okay? And that is the tech and motorcycle and compare. You guys are completed or not? The homework is completed or not? Yeah. Okay, guys. Yesterday we discussed, see, um, end-to-end testing. Yesterday we discussed. See, first of all, we need to create the requirement. Next, we need to scan that requirement related all modules. Once scan the all module, we need to create the test case. Once create the test cases, which is required into end testing, you need to drag and drop from the module. You need to drag and drop from the module. And after that, if you want to execute the end-to-end testing, we need to execute inside of the execution. Inside of the execution, after completion of the execution, you guys are observed here. Yeah, this is the sprint. This is the sprint. And you guys are observed, just this is the end-to-end testing. You need to drag and drop here. You need to drag and drop here. When you guys are drag and drop here, that is asking create a test case link associated with the execution list with the requirement set. Yes, you need to click on yes. You need to click on yes. See, guys, you guys are observed clearly here. Okay. You guys are observed clearly here. And if you want to, what is the status of the test case here? See, this here is there completed. So now right click on here and click on update outdated value. Update value might be taking some time. See, you guys are observed. I am able to release the application 99% to the customer. Coverage specified and execution state. Total, I am able to release the application to customer. Total, I am able to release to the application to customer 99%. Total, okay? 100% I am able to release, okay? See, then, and after that, you guys are observe and go to test case. If you guys are put the plan, once you guys are put the plan, and here, coming to here, right click on here, update value, click on. See, guys, 20% is covered. 20% is covered. Only 20% is covered. Remaining 80 is pending. Which one? That is automobile. Okay. Automobile 20% is covered. And after that, if I want to change the plan here and in work, just you need to go to the execution, not execution, requirement. And you need to right click on here and update value. Click on the, see guys, before in work is before planet is the 20%, in work is the 50%, almost 50% is completed. Once complete the test case, you need to provide here completed. And coming to requirement, right click on here and click on update and click on OK. 100% we are able to release to the application to customer. This is the process, guys. This is the process how to do the end-to-end testing before release the application to customer. How to do the end-to-end testing before release the application to customer. This is the process. Okay, done. What is the last heading, guys? Notes in your notes. I need to complete the notes. Okay, because it is taking too late. Okay. Yeah, what is the last topic in your notes? Hello. Static test is completed. There are different types is there. If you want to do the, if you want to create, if you want to learn how to create and how to use, how to delete and where you are able to store. Okay. If you want to create any static buffer and we need to create three predefined module that is completed, guys. There are T-box set buffer, T-box delete, T-box and T-box partial. Okay. How to create the set buffer? Yeah. Static is completed, guys. Static is completed. Sorry, not static. T-box set buffer is completed. Please respond, anybody. Yeah. Okay. Next one, T-box delete. T-box delete buffer. Next one. Very good. Thank you, Kiran. T-box. Thank you, Durga Prasad. Okay. T-box delete buffer. Yeah. Write down. If you want to delete any buffer, if you want to delete any buffer names, if you want to delete any buffer names, first we need to if you want to delete any buffer name, first we need to get the T-box delete buffer. First we need to get the T-box delete buffer from standard module, from standard module under buffer operations, under buffer operations. Okay, under buffer operations, you guys are provide like this, guys. Module, standard module, And the next one is the buffer operations.
Testing match morning 7:30 to
Yeah. What's her name? Sorry, excuse me, guys, just a minute. Sorry, guys. Yeah. Just unit modules, standard modules, and buffer operations. Under buffer operations, you guys are provide here. Under buffer operation, you guys are provide delete buffer. T box delete buffer. Okay. You guys are write down like this. You guys are write down this like this. We need to drag and drop from the standard module to and test case. We need to drag and drop the T box delete buffer under buffer operations. We need to drag and drop buffer. We need to drag and drop T box delete of buffer under buffer operations to test case folder. We need to drag and drop T box delete buffer under buffer operations to test case folder. Okay. Yeah. The next one. The next one. By using T-box delete buffer, by using T-box delete buffer, by using T-box delete buffer, we are able to delete all the buffer names and buffer values. Whatever we stored, we are able to delete all the buffer names and buffer values. Whatever we stored in earlier, whatever we stored in earlier, whatever we stored in earlier. Okay. The next one, partial buffer. The next one, partial buffer. Yeah. Write down partial buffer. If you want to print, if you want to print if you want to print any expected text from given data, if you want to print any expected text from given data, if you want to print any expected text from given data, we need to use partial buffer. If you want to print any partial text from given data, we need to use partial buffer. We need to use partial buffer. The next one. The next one. In this partial buffer, the expected text starting number in this partial buffer, the expected text starting number means, and A is the 10th. Okay. Starting number and ending number and end number, we need to provide starting number and end number, we need to provide under partial buffer. Start number, end number, we need to provide under partial buffer. Next line. Then automatically the expected text will be print. Then automatically the expected text will be print. Then automatically the expected text will be print. Okay. The next one. Note. Note. In TCP, by using TCP, not by in TCP, by using TCP, the values we are unable to store. By using TCP, the values we are unable to store during execution time. By using TCP, the values we are unable to store during execution time. The next one. By using buffer concept, we are able to store, we are able to get, by using buffer concept, we are able to store, we are able to get during execution time. During execution time. Next one. Next heading. Dynamic buffer. Dynamic buffer. Dynamic buffer. Yeah. Write down. Write down. By using dynamic buffer, we are able to store the values during execution time. During execution time. Okay. Next line. Once create the script in Tosca software. Once create the script in Tosca software, every step will perform some action. Every step will perform some action. Every step will perform some action on this application. Okay, on this application. Next one. Every action related information, every action related information every action related information will be stored every action related information will be stored inside of the buffer. Inside of the buffer. Yeah, you guys write down. Every script related information, every script action will perform, every script related information will perform on the application. That whenever you perform the action, every action will be stored inside of the buffer. Okay, you guys are take the screenshot or draw this one. If you have a guys, one step is missing in partial buffer. Okay, if you want to get the partial buffer, we need to get from the module, standard modules, buffer operation. Under buffer operation, partial buffer. Okay, this step also you guys are write down. You need to remove the T box, delete buffer. You need to provide the T box partial buffer. Okay, in partial buffer, you guys are write down this step. Okay, how you guys are get the partial buffer? You guys are able to get the partial buffer from the T box. Sorry, you buffer operation under standard modules under module. Is it clear? It is clear or not? Yeah. Write down the next one. End-to-end testing. The next one. End-to-end testing. End-to-end testing. End-to-end testing. Okay, write down, guys. Before release the application to customer, before release the application to customer, before release the application to customer, we need to validate the release related. We need to validate the release related. We need to validate the release related all business flows. All business flows. All business flows. Release related all business flows. We need to validate release related all business flows. The next one. If you want to do the end-to-end testing, we need to use. If you want to do the end-to-end testing, we need to use below modules. We need to use below modules. Draw this one. Requirement module, test case, execution, and issues. Draw this one. Do fast. Or take the screenshot. We need to use below modules. Okay. Yeah. Steps wise. Okay. Steps wise, you guys are maintained. In requirement document, in requirement module, the release related all information we need to provide. The requirement in requirement module, the release related all requirements in requirement module, the release related all requirement, the release related all requirement information we need to provide. We need to provide in requirement module, release related all requirement information we need to provide. Full stop. Next line. If you want to release that requirements, to customer, we need to release. If you want to release the requirements to customer, we need to release through sprint wise. Through sprint wise. Okay, see guys. Right click on requirement module, select the create requirement. Okay, create a folder. Select the create a folder. and select the create a requirement set. Select the create a folder. Select the create a requirement set. Okay, this is the process. And you guys are take the screenshot this one also. You guys are take the screenshot this one also. You guys are take the screenshot this one also. It is useful. Okay, done. The next one. The next one. Once we create the requirements, once we create the requirement, we need to provide coverage specified and execution state. See guys, once we create the requirement, we need to provide coverage specified and execution state. Coverage specified and execution state we need to provide. Once we create the requirement, we need to provide coverage specified and execution state. Coverage specified and execution state. Right click on next line. Right click on sprint folder name. Okay, right click on sprint, click on update value, right click on sprint, click on update value, right click on sprint, click on update value, click on OK, click on OK, click on OK. Right click on sprint, click on update value, click on OK, click on OK. Then the coverage specified execution state will be reflected 100%. Then the coverage specified execution state will be reflect 100%. The coverage specified and execution state will be reflect 100%. Okay, yeah. The next one. By using below formula, we are able to calculate build damage. By using below formula, we are able to calculate build damage. By using below formula, we are able to calculate build damage. See guys, see on the board, 2 into 2 equal to weight. See here, frequency class, and here damage class 2 to the power of fc into 2 to the power of dc. Okay, dc equals to weight, equals to weight. Write down. By using below formula, we are able to calculate build damage. Your requirement is completed. The next one, module. The next one, module. In this module folder, we need to scan all business related. In this module folder, we need to scan all business related flows. Okay, in this module folder, we need to scan all business related flows, all business related flows by using XScan engine. XScan engine. By using XScan engine. Okay, done. The next one, test case. The next one, test case. If you want to do the end-to-end testing, if we want to do the end-to-end testing, if we want to do the end-to-end testing, we need to create one folder in test case module. We need to create one folder in test case module. We need to create one folder in test case module. Under that folder, create the test case. Under that folder, create the test case. Under the folder, create the test case. Next line. Next line. Under the test case, we need to provide all business flows. Under the test case, we need to provide all business flows proper order. This one, guys. Under the test case, we need to provide all business flows proper order. Proper order. Okay. Proper order. Next one. Next one. Next one. Execution. If you want to do the end-to-end testing, If you want to do the end-to-end testing, we are able to execute inside of the test case folder. We are able to execute inside of the test case folder. We are able to execute inside of the test case folder. Sorry, execution folder. We are able to execute inside of the execution folder. Sorry, guys. If you want to do end-to-end testing, we are able to execute inside of the execution folder, not test case folder. Sorry, execution folder. Execution folder. Okay. Next line. The test case we need to drag and drop from the test case we need to drag and drop from the test case folder to execution folder. The test case we need to drag and drop from test case folder to execution folder. Test case folder to execution folder. We need to drag and drop from the test case folder to execution folder. Yeah, next line. Under execution folder, we need to drop under execution folder. We need to drop inside of the execution list. We need to drop inside of the execution list. We need to drop inside of the execution list. Okay, next line. Once execution is completed, the test case we need to drag and drop the test case we need to drag and drop execution folder to requirement. The test case we need to drag and drop execution folder to requirement. See guys, based on the requirement, we are able to scan the module. Okay. In test case folder, we need to provide proper order under test case by using the module. Okay. Once create the test case, drag and drop drag the test case, drop in execution folder. Okay, execution folder. Drag the test case, drop execution folder. Okay, after completion of the execution, drag the execution folder, drop in requirement. Drop in requirement. Drop in requirement. Take the screenshot. Take the screenshot. Yeah. Once drop the execution end to once drop the end to end test case in requirement document. Once drop the end to end test case in requirement module. Once drop the end to end test case in requirement module. In requirement module. In requirement module. Okay, next line. Here only we are able to drop inside of the expected requirement. Here, see guys, what I am able to drag and drop? Automobile. The automobile I was executed here. The automobile I need to drag and drop inside of the automobile. Okay, you no need to drop here truck, you no need to drop here motorcycle. Okay, this is the automobile, you need to drop here. We are able to drag and drop inside of the requirement module particular requirement, particular under requirement. We need to drag and drop once execution is completed. We need to drag and drop inside of the requirement module under particular requirement. Under particular requirement. I will repeat again. Once execution is completed, we need to drag and drop from execution folder to requirement. We need to drag and drop from execution folder to requirement under particular requirement. Under particular requirement. I will repeat one more time. Once execution is completed, we need to drag and drop from execution folder to requirement folder under particular requirement. Under particular requirement. Okay. Under particular requirement. Next line. Once drag and drop, we need to validate the coverage and coverage specified and execution state. We need to validate the coverage specified and execution state. The above two states, next time, the above two states depends on test case status. The above two states depends on test case work status. See guys, the above two states depends on test case work status. The test case work status. The above two states depends on test case work status. Okay, right. Next one. If you want to validate the work, if you want to validate the work percentage, if you want to validate the work percentage, right click on particular sprint, click on update value. If you want to validate the work status, right click on particular sprint, click on update value, then click on OK. Then click on OK. Then click on OK. Automatically, the percentage will reflected. Automatically, the percentage will reflected. This is we call end-to-end testing. Any doubt? Automatically, the percentage will reflected. Any doubt? Do you have any doubt? Okay. Okay. The next concept. The next concept. Frameworks. The next concept. Frameworks. It is very important concept. The next concept. Framework. Yeah. What is the framework? The framework is nothing but a set of rules. What is the framework? The framework is nothing but a set of rules. The rules we need to follow. The rules we need to follow. Set of rules. The rules we need to follow. The rules we need to follow. The rules we need to complete. The rules we need to complete. We need to follow. The rules we need to complete. You guys are observed here. This is the framework. In this framework, set of rules is there. In this framework, set of rules is there. Here, team members is there. The set of rules the team members need to follow. The set of rules the team members need to follow. Once follow the rules, based on the rules, you need to complete the work. We need to complete the work. We have a, see guys, you guys are observed. This is the okay. This is the set of rules. Okay. And this is the rules team need to follow. Next one, based on the rules, we need to complete the work. We need to complete the work. The framework is nothing but a set of rules. The team need to follow the rules. Based on the rules, we need to complete the work. We need to complete the work. This is the framework. Is it clear or not? Any doubt? Is it clear or not? Any doubt? Please tell me, guys. Yes or no? Why you guys are taking more time? Okay? Yeah. Actually, you people are unable to answer, and I can't move to the next step, guys. That is the problem. Okay. I said number of times, just yes or no. You guys are type it here. You people are not there in front of the system. I can't do anything. There are different types of frameworks is there. The first one is the modular driven framework. There are different types of framework is there. The first one is the modular driven framework. The next one is the data driven framework. The third one is the hybrid framework. The third one is the hybrid framework. Total 3 frameworks is there. Modular framework, and second one is the data driven framework. The third one is the hybrid framework is there. I am able to explain all the frameworks one after one. One after one. First of all, we need to discuss about modular framework. First of all, we need to discuss about modular framework. What is the modular framework? If you want to use the modular framework, we are able to avoid duplicate steps. If you want to use the modular framework, we are able to avoid duplicate steps. Duplicate steps. How we can able to avoid the duplicate steps? You guys are observed here. You guys are observed. Okay. See here. Okay. I will use one more thing. Yeah. See guys, here three people is there. The three people are using username, password, login. Username, password, login. Username, password, login. Okay. The three people are using username and password, login. Okay. See, the username password login is these three people are using same username, same password repeatedly. Duplicate data. See, if you want to avoid this duplicate data, we need to create the modular data driven framework. In this modular data driven framework, we need to provide one time username and password. Click on login button. We need to reuse from the modular framework. We need to reuse from the modular framework. We need to reuse from the modular framework. See, before modular framework, we are using number of times. If you want to avoid the duplicate value, the duplicate data, if you want to avoid the duplicate data, we need to use modular framework. We need to use modular framework. Okay. By using modular framework, we are able to avoid the duplicate data. We are able to avoid the duplicate data. See, in this time, we no need to follow this process. We no need to follow this process. We need to create the modular framework. For example, you guys are observed coming to the test case here. You guys are observed here coming to the test case. If you want to drag and drop here, under precondition before open URL is there. Once you guys are drag and drop precondition to process, the open URL is gone from the precondition folder. From precondition folder. There is no URL here. The URL you are able to drag and drop under process. If you want to use modular framework, when you guys are drag and drop, the time that is not gone from the modular framework. If you want to use the modular framework, if you want to drag and drop from modular framework to user number one, basically without modular framework, whatever you drag and drop, that one will gone from the particular folder. By using modular framework, if you want to drag and drop from modular framework to anywhere, that will be stored. Once you drag and drop, that will be stored inside of the modular framework. It is not gone. Still it is live. If you want to drag and drop from the modular framework, still it is live. If you want to do without modular framework, you are able to, whatever you drag and drop, that one automatically it will be gone. That is the avoid the duplicate values. You guys are able to understand or not? You guys are able to understand or not? Please respond, anybody. Guys, is it clear? If it is not clear, I will explain one more time. Hello? Yeah, all right. All right. Okay. This is the process. This is the process. The modular framework, if you want to avoid the duplicate stuff, we need to use modular framework. What is the use of the modular framework? If you want to drag and drop from the modular framework, the whatever you drag and drop, that folder or that file still live inside of the modular framework. Without modular framework, when you guys are drag and drop, the time where from you guys are drag and drop to one folder to another folder. Whatever you drag and drop, that folder, that data is not available in that first folder. Why? Because we are unable to handle this type of issues without modular framework. By using modular framework, it is possible to do the drag and drop from any folder. Okay, this is the process. Now, how to create the modular framework? How to create the modular framework? This one I will discuss tomorrow. How to create the modular framework? This one I will discuss tomorrow. From starting to ending, guys, all the from up to now, all the notes, please, guys, are shared to my email ID. Okay. You guys are please share whatever some people was shared. Okay, you guys are again up to now, all the notes you guys are shared to my email ID. If you have any doubts, please raise your hand and I will provide the access. You guys are able to speak out. Please tell me if you have any doubts. You guys are raise your hand. I will provide the access. You people are able to speak out. Meya, Hema, Durga Prasad, Kiran, Mehtaj, Ramya, Sanjay, Venkat, and remaining some people is not attend. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Guys, please share the notes. If you have any doubts, please text me here. Okay. Guys, one thing you guys remember, without practice it is very difficult. Okay, and now started some important concept. Someone is asking, sir, how to read the data from the text file, how to read the data from Excel sheet, like that we are able to provide the data from Excel sheet in a Tosca software. Yes, that is I will discuss, guys. Okay, this is a very important concepts. Okay, you don't to neglect and you don't forget. Please do the practice. Okay, please do the practice. Is it clear? Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. I will continue tomorrow. Bye.